This is the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, where I strategize with business owners on how to grow and scale their businesses to hit their income goals. This is episode 140 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today, we are going to dive into the market positioning of a small business. So we're going to really peel the onion back on this and take a look at how you can figure out your market positioning for your business. So now before we get even into the episode, I want to make sure that you're aware that there is a worksheet that is going to walk you through what we're going to talk about today so that you can really take a deep dive into this. And part of being able to understand your market positioning is to be able to take this walk backwards. Because when you're looking at this, I truly believe that everything that has happened to you up until this point in your life, tragedies, amazing things, ugly things, those have all made you who you are today. So you have to be able to take that walk backwards to really see the monumental points in your life that have forced you to pivot or change the way that you view the world. So the worksheet that I have for you, head over to the show notes. We're going to make sure that you grab that so that you can get that downloaded and start really doing this walk, this work. Because you guys, if you want to be able to scale your business, grow your business, provide the life that you've dreamed of for your family, you need to be able to do the work that goes along with this. And this is just going to take you back through that piece. Now, something that I want to talk to you about as well is that in this coming spring, March 31st through April 2nd, is Influencer Entrepreneurs Academy here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, if you are looking to take the podcast and bring it to life within an intimate setting where you're going to be with other attendees that are looking to scale their business as well, then that is the place that you need to be. The event is like no other because we keep it intimate. We do not go above 150 attendees. Once we have gotten to 150, we are sold out. And let me just tell you, we are very close to that. So if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, please make sure that you get your hands on it now so that you make sure that you have your seat saved. The conference is meant for you to be able to have strategies that are taught to you to then be able to apply and brainstorm and then mastermind with the attendees that are there to help you put those strategies in place in your business. So if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, make sure that you grab it. We're going to link to that in the show notes as well so that you can make sure that you get your seat to that. Okay, so let's talk about market positioning. Now, I know that this sounds like kind of a fancy word, but market positioning is how you are identified within the market. So whether you are an influencer, whether you are a nutritionist, whether you are a blogger, whether you are a psychologist, a life coach, no matter what it is that you do, how are you identified? Now, in other words, what we need to be able to figure out is what makes you uniquely you. Now, I've done this in the past. Many of you may have gone through Pitch Perfect Live, my 5-day free training. I force you to really tell me your story, right? Ask you what makes you uniquely you. And the biggest pushback I hear from people is always, there's nothing that makes me unique. Guys, that is so far from the truth. Every single one of us is different. We have our own unique stories and we need to be able to look back and say what those are and then bring that into our positioning, because the way that we view the world is based on those past experiences, and it is what has made us who we are up into that point. I truly believe that your past experiences have made you who you are up until this point in time. From this moment on, it is up to you to become who you want to be, to create the life of your dreams for your family by creating this business of your dreams. And if you're going to do that, you need to be able to tell me how you are unique. So I want you to think about what makes you different. What makes you, if I were to take a look and I were to try to figure out, who you are right away, are you a homeschooling mom of 9 children? That makes you unique. Are you a Michelin trained chef that had your own restaurant, that left your restaurant to have children and support your husband while he was going back to school himself, and you wanted to be able to spend time with your family? So now you are training other home chefs how to create Michelin type meals at home. Okay? Are you a nutritionist that works with young women that have eating disorders? What is it about you that makes you unique? And it doesn't have to just be what it is that you do. It can also be who you are. Who were you? Maybe as that nutritionist, you also suffered from an eating disorder. Or maybe it wasn't the eating disorder that you suffered from. It was something else that kind of got you to that point. Maybe your best friend did and you saw them struggle with that, or your sister or your family. Tell me what makes you unique. What are your stories that are behind who you are and what you do? Okay? Now, when it comes to this, I need you to be able to tell me your life experiences from your childhood all the way to this moment in time. Everything that has happened to you is important. When I graduated high school, I had the quote in my yearbook page, and I know this seems silly, but it is something that I still, even then, knew and still believe. And my quote was, "I'll always look behind me and smile." Because I truly believe that everything that has happened to me, whether it is a tragedy or whether it is something terribly painful or something really, really happy, it has made me who I am at this exact moment. So being able to look back and tell those stories of your childhood, you have to be able to take a look and put them all out on paper. What made you who you are? Now, I've told the story on the podcast, but it was in the very beginning. So I want to kind of go back through it. And some of you may have heard me talk about this before, or you may know because you've met me in person. I am only 5'4" tall. And I played college basketball. I scored 1,000 points as a college athlete as well as in high school with only 3 years of varsity. Because the reason I bring this up is I was small. I've always been small. And for many of you, you also know that I'm an introvert. I have anxiety when it comes to meeting new people. I have learned, and I learned at a young age, how to combat it, how to be able to breathe through it and do the things that I needed to do if I wanted to hit my goals and make my dreams come true. And as a child, I would say probably 11, 12 years old, I can remember going to basketball tryouts. And it wasn't in my town, which was a very small town. For those that don't know, I graduated with 78 students. So it was a very small town. But we would go over to a couple towns over, and there would be much bigger schools that would be competing for these spots on an AAU team, which is a traveling basketball team. And being the introvert that I am, I would get a ton of anxiety, not from having to try out, but because I had to actually talk and try to show that I could work on a team with people I'd never even met. And I had a ton of anxiety when it came to meeting new people. But I learned to be able to push through that. Once I started doing it and made the team, it became now not only did I had to now get to know these girls. Some of them actually were from the same town, went to the same high school. As we got older and I continued to play with them, I obviously became more comfortable with them. But if new girls came in or a coach came in, there was always that anxiety. And the reason that I bring this up is because learning how I was able to push past that, to find a way to focus on the skills that I needed to have rather than having to focus on being able to be social and have conversations, it made it that much easier for me to become who I am. I knew that with hard work, I could hold my own on the basketball court. And because of that, I would gain the respect of those girls, even though I was one of the smallest girls on the team. And I came from a very small town. but I was able to garnish their respect because I had practiced so hard. I can remember being outside shooting foul shots and knowing I needed to get my 100 practice foul shots in, and it would start to snow, and there were snowflakes coming down, and I was outside in full-on multiple sweatshirts and gloves on my hands, but I was going to shoot my 100 foul shots for that day because I needed to get them in so that I could practice, so that I could get the respect from those girls that I were going to be playing with, that I felt social anxiety with, not only because I was an introvert, but also because I was one of the smallest. I didn't feel like I could keep up with them. I didn't play as well as they did. I always felt like the weakest link. So in order to combat that, I practiced and hustled and worked hard in order to hit that goal of feeling comfortable amongst them. And that still is my way today of doing things. When I created my business, the Jenny Melrose side of my business after having had the lifestyle blog, I pivoted into a field where I wasn't well known. I was known amongst the blogging world, but I wasn't known amongst the coaching and speaking and creating courses. I had to work hard to build up that side of my business, to create relationships with other people. And the way in which I was able to do that is I told my story. I gave people an opportunity to connect with me. And when you tell your story, you give people that chance to connect with you. So if you are that mom blogger that is out there that is talking about how to approach parenting, and you have tweens and you know what to do because, you've gone through this. Share the story of what you've gone through and how you've done it, and share the ups and the downs, right? We can't always share the perfect because that's not a reality. You have to share all of who you are. This is the same thing if you are a nutritionist and maybe you do have these clients that have eating disorders, but maybe you had a sister that suffered from it. Sharing that story and what you saw and how you were able to help her go through that is going to give you that connection with those people, with your clients. So really start to think about what are the stories that you can share that are going to create that connection with your audience and with your people that are out there. Because once you start to create that connection and provide a chance for people to truly trust you, that's when they start to look at you as the leader in your industry, as the person that they're going to go to for the information that they are looking for. But you have to connect with them on a personal level. They have to feel like they know, like, and trust you. So really creating that story for them where they can connect, whether it's talking about your family, whether it's talking about your past, but whatever it is, giving them that chance to truly connect with you. Many of you know that when I normally speak, I always start off, because I have tons of nerves, I start off always telling that I'd love for you to be able to ask questions as we're going through. I'm a former inner city school district teacher, so I'm used to actually dodging chairs. So adults raising hands asking questions in the middle of my presentation will not throw me off. I normally always start with that because it gives you a chance to connect with me. It also gives me a chance to calm my nerves. It's like my first sentence that always kind of makes me, okay, here we go. Puts me into a rhythm. It'll normally take my heart rate down a little bit from when I am getting nervous and speaking in front of a crowd. But it gives you that chance as an audience to connect. I can normally get a little bit of a smile from people, and then I'm able to feed off of the crowd and be able to give them the information that they need in order to inspire them to move forward in their businesses. Now, you also want to be able to inspire the people that are watching you, whether you are creating meals for people, if you are doing it virtually or you're doing it even in person, maybe you're a home chef. You still want to be able to connect with your audience, whether it's on social media, whether it's on Instagram, whether you are trying to do it via email. You have to be able to tell those stories so that people can connect with you and feel like they are at home. That positioning that you provide in the market is where people will know to be able to find you. They're going to look to you as their expert in that area. So that if you are known for having the best cookies in town, they're going to go to you to get the best cookies in town because you've gotten that positioning in the market as having the best cookies in town. So really look back at your story. Take that journey. I want you to take a look, brainstorm the whole of what is going to look like for you from your past, from your childhood. What are some of the things that when you put it onto paper that stand out to you? The story that I told you of shooting outside while snowflakes are coming down into my eyes is a story I will never, ever forget. And it's one I always share because it's something that I truly believe made me who I am. Those are the types of stories that you're looking for. So put them all out on paper. And it doesn't, as you can see, that wasn't tragic. That was just something memorable in my mind that it made me who I am. There are many things that if you go through and you write your story out, pieces of your life that you will see that it was like a crossroads for you. And you could have gone one path, but you went the other. Did you learn from it? Did you grow from it? And if you did, which most of us were moving towards a goal, are looking to do, understand that what that has made you into is something that you can share with other people because they will connect with that. It's who you are. So I want you to make sure that you download the worksheet because it is going to walk you through this whole idea of going back into your past and taking a look at the things that make you who you are. This worksheet is really going to help you whether you are an influencer, whether you have a brick and mortar store, or whether you are offering services or products. You have to be able to understand your market positioning so that you can stand out in the market and attract those clients and that audience to you so that your business can continue to grow and flourish into the business of your dreams. I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen in. Don't forget, if you haven't already grabbed your ticket to Influencer Entrepreneurs Academy here in Charlotte, you want to make sure that you get that ticket before we are sold out. Also, I appreciate you guys so much for leaving reviews on iTunes. When you do so, just leave your Instagram handle in the review. It helps others to be able to find it. You also can always take a screenshot and put it up on social media. On Instagram stories, you can tag me at Jenny_Melrose, and I will send you a personal message. I just want to thank you guys so much for always listening in, and I hope that this has helped you really better understand your positioning within the market for yourself. All right, guys, until next time, I will see you all then.